So what if Deku had a heat quirk hero? This is hero, got it. Okay, so I left off after they picked representatives and presidents, and now it's the SJ. And the SJ. Did I get Deku one? Yeah, I gave him one fall. So in this, Deku would have got ready, and they would get there with 13 explaining her quirk and all that. And because of this explaining her quirk, explaining that quirk can be dangerous. Deku knows this because he can literally boil people inside out and kill them easily. But the whole thing would happen with everybody getting teleported. People getting teleported everywhere would be... Deku would be the same place, but he would jump in the water. But he would heat it up, and it would start boiling people. So people would jump out, and Deku would just swim, or just kind of slowly swim, walking up the water, looking them dead in the face. Oh yeah, did I give Deku one fall? If I didn't, he does have one fall, and I say he's at 20% to throw smashes, but yeah. So, while he's up here, he'd see Aizawa about to get stabbed, but he would run over there, and he would grab the Nomu by the wrist, burning it, but the Nomu would scream, but he would punch Deku with Deku blocking. It couldn't hurt, but he'd run back, and he would know that it's not a real person, so he would stick out his hand in like a disc throwing form, and he would have said, Destructo disc, I'm just kidding, flame disc or heat disc, throwing a weird heated energy, and it would hit the Nomu with the Nomu blocking with its arms, but it would burn and melt straight through it, slicing its arms off, pretty much, and cutting its chest, but it would stop there. It would start growing back really quickly. Deku would see this, and he would have put out his hands, and I'll just destroy the whole thing, shooting a blast, and it would hit the lower body, like cutting or melting half of the Nomu away, so it can't regenerate half its body, and it would come back. Or I mean, like from the head to its stomach, pretty much. I'll say the Nomu could come back from this, because it's a stronger Nomu. They had research on Deku and how strong his quirk is, and so the Nomu has this new quirk called Phoenix's Rebirth. If you guys want me to do what if Deku was like a phoenix and all that, I'll do one. Or should I do it like phoenix fruit or something like that? I'll probably do that one later on. Bruh, I can't do generator Rexes anymore. I don't like the quirk at all. I get it, but I kind of don't like it. But yeah. If you guys want to try out being a what if for me, I'll pay you a what if a day. Yeah, how about that? Of course, there are sick days, and yeah. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so Deku would have seen a flame come over it, and it would heal itself. Deku would, of course, just take his hand into it, dig it into it, and he would have to say, he would start heating it up, boiling it, and continuously popping it. The Phoenix, fruit, or not the Phoenix, but the Phoenix ability is known as tear rebirths, more like it, so every tear that comes out of the Nomu, which Nomu can cry from all the pain, it would revive itself. So, but it has a total use of 100 times. For that's how many times it made the Nomu cry to make it almost unkillable, but it is killable. But they would be doing this, and Shigaraki would have to charge at him with the decay. With him going to grab Deku, Deku would notice this, grabbing him by the wrist and making him touch the Nomu in like the face. Decaying its head and brain, and he would have took his hands and would have put took a piece of metal and melted it to the Nomu. And what's happening is that he stuck Shigaraki to the Nomu with a piece of metal, killing it over and over. And Shigaraki's like, "Come back here, you kid, and get this off of me." He'd say no, and that you're just gonna sit put there. But of course, a teleport or a warp would come, because that's the only way they can free him. Somebody could do it, and they have to take Shigaraki back. And this will be the end of the sports festival. Or no, next is the sports festival. They have some weeks off, and then they get told about it. Deku's okay, and it would be Deku. Deku can fly. I think I said that. He can hover and all that, but he would be flying. It's not very fast. It's like it's around him being at like 5% speed, so he would be fast enough to keep up with Bakugo and Todoroki at the speed. But he would have like kicked off of stuff, sending him forward with one for all, where he can get further ahead of people. But he would have jumped down, saying that's just wasting energy. And he would have landed where the robots are, and he would have put his hands in front of himself, running faster, and he would jump forward, saying meteor ball, and he would melt straight through the leg of it, with people seeing him just cover his face, melting through the robots. After making through, Haywood got to he would have got to the past that to the cannon, or the what's it called, canyon, and he would just start jumping, going over the ropes. So after this, he would get to this part, and he would have got through running, and he would pass through everything. Now it is the explosions. Deku would have put out his hand saying heat barrier and ran through it, protecting himself pretty much. Now it is the cavalry battle. It would be the same team, but Deku would be at the top where he can aim his attacks, and he would just be throwing heat grenades, he calls them. It's pretty much where he throws like a ball of heat, and he can expand this to melt and hit people away like an explosion, flinging people around. Todoroki and them would get in a standoff, but when Todoroki goes to use his ice, Deku will just melt it completely. But whenever he goes to use, a fire, Deku would just sweep his hand above it, looking him dead in the eyes really close, with kind of an angry look. And would have headbutted him with one for all, sending him back with his eyes rolling backwards. So yeah. So after this, Deku would have won the cavalry battle with his first place points and all that. After this, it would be the battles. It's Deku versus Senso Shinso would say, have you ever... Yeah, we went through the whole speech and all that about not having a feeling quirk. And Deku would kind of get angry and he would put his hand to the ground and the ground would melt. And he would pick up the melted ground and swing it into the air. And pieces would hit Shinso, burning him. And Deku would walk slowly towards him with the ground melting by his feet. Like, you know how Endeavor can run up walls by melting the ground? But Deku has like a whole ball around him melting stuff. He'd walk up to Shinso, and Shinso can see the ball about to hit him. And he was freezing, and Deku would have just punched him in the face, knocking him out the ring. Actually tells Shinso to his face that my quirk can be villainous. If I wanted to, I can explode somebody inside out by using the heat that I can generate to boil them alive with just a touch. And all that. And he didn't use one for all, he just punched him with his normal strength out. Because Shinso, if he would have like grabbed him, he would have melted or like burnt himself and made like a blister explode of blood and all that. And Deku would walk off with people seeing like a line of melted concrete in a circle, and he was floating, sort of kind of like there was still ground there, is what it looked like. Oh yeah. After this, it is Deku versus Todoroki. Brothers versus brothers. Deku would get there, seeing Todoroki, but this is when Endeavor would see Deku with Endeavor jumping down, hitting the ground, and that's whenever he would say, "Is that you, brat?" With Deku seeing him, with Deku going to throw a flame disc at him, or heat disc, and they would see, or Todoroki would see like a heat appear between his fingers, and it would start spinning. Deku would say, "Hello there, Endeavor." Of people getting confused, and all that, and President might tell Endeavor that we need to start the match, and whatever's going on, you guys can do it afterwards. Endeavor would get to the wall, leaning against it, and the match would start, which Todoroki shooting ice, with Deku waving his hand, melting it, with President saying, "Deku blank," because he never put it in. With them looking to his eye was saying, "So he doesn't have a last name?" He says, "I don't know, he never put it in, so we just left it." And all that, and that's whenever, or after, has a heat quirk to emanate heat. Shinso, or why I keep on saying Shinso, Todoroki has ice and fire. And the ice is not faring against the heat too well. Deku would just be walking, just like he did against Shinso, towards him, intimidating him the most, with Endeavor saying, "Use your fire," out loud, with him saying, "Never," with Deku saying, "My brother, just use it. It's your quirk. At least you got a fire quirk, and you weren't it pushed to the side like me." And all that, saying that you're blessed just to have it, compared to some people that don't even have quirks. And you'd say you have been selfish to not even use your quirk, looking down on people. That's what it seems to people. But Todoroki would say yeah, and you'd shoot his mix absolute zero attack. But Deku would just swing his hands, blowing back his fire with the heat and one for all. But with him activating one for all with electricity emanating from him, Deku's going beyond to 30%. But yeah, so he's at 30% right now, and people can see his muscles becoming bigger, like they bulk up for a second. And after this, and he would just hit a heat shock wave that would have flew Todoroki out. He would stop it, and that's whenever Principal Nezu would walk out with papers and documents about Deku, announcing to everybody that I found some research on the Izuku, and he would say that his last name is Todoroki, part of the Todoroki family of Endeavor. And that would surprise people, with everybody in 1A hearing about this, saying that compared to the rest of, he's the youngest of all of them, but his mother, he, instead of being the mother having ice quirk, his mother had some sort of telekinesis quirk, and it was probably, Endeavor probably married him with everybody else in the head to learn how to use the fire better. But instead of getting that, he had a heat quirk, which can be used in different ways than fire, and seemingly can overpower fire at any time. So yeah. So people would hear this, and they would look at Endeavor, and so everybody in 1A, they'd be like, so Shinso and Todoroki and Izuku or Deku in this world, because he says that that's his name, because he says, with my quirk, he can do anything. And yeah, is Todoroki's brother or Soto or Shoto. They don't know what to call them because they both have the same last name, or apparently. But yeah. So yeah, they'll probably call Todoroki Shinso from now on. Oh my god, I can't keep on saying Shinso, but Shoto, because Shoto is like fire and ice, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. So this is where I'll be leaving off. And Deku's internship, I'll just tell you by now, it's gonna be Night Eyes. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.